Today, we bring the story of a woman who lost her love over a moment of temptation. I sit here grappling with a secret that has weighed on me for far too long. My name is Sarah, a 32-year-old woman residing in the suburbs of Chicago. I share a beautiful life with Jack, a man who embodies integrity and success. He walks into a room commanding respect, not through orders or boasting, but with his sheer presence and hard-earned achievements. Before Jack, there was Mike, a wild storm of unpredictability and excitement. Despite the chaos, there was an intoxicating thrill in living without rules. Mike, the leather-clad, Harley-riding bad boy, lived on the edge, teetering on disaster, yet always managing to come back. I fell for the allure of unpredictability, the rush of a rebellious spirit. Our marriage was a roller coaster, filled with adrenaline highs and soul-crushing lows. Eventually, it ended in a whirlwind of regret. Then Jack entered my life, a stable, successful, and respectful man. He was the calm after the storm, and I thought I had found my happily ever after. But life has a way of bringing the past back when we least expect it. At a charity event, I ran into Mike. Amidst a sea of tailored suits, he stood in his worn-out leather jacket confidently himself. Memories resurfaced over drinks, and the thrill I once knew rushed back. In a moment of weakness, I found myself in his run-down apartment, a place reeking of motor oil and whiskey. And there, I cheated on Jack. The weight of guilt and shame is unbearable. I need advice on how to navigate this tangled web I've created and find a way to either heal or move forward. From that moment on, guilt and regret filled every corner of my being. What was I thinking? Why did I let myself be swayed by the illusion of a past that brought more pain than pleasure? Mike, with his chaotic lifestyle, stood in stark contrast to the calm and comforting stability that Jack provided me. Jack is everything I want in a life partner: supportive, kind, strong, successful, and most importantly, he respects and loves me. But the memory of that evening with Mike has been eating me alive, gnawing at my conscience and filling my heart with dread. The worst part: one think Jack suspects something. He's been quiet, too quiet ever since I came home late that night, claiming to have lost track of time while shopping. His silence is deafening, and it terrifies me. He's not the kind of man to confront without evidence, but I can tell something has changed. I don't know what to do. Should I confess to Jack and risk shattering the trust we've built over these years? Or should I keep my terrible secret? Hope that Jack doesn't know and live with this guilt forever. I messed up, and I regret it deeply. But I'm scared, and I need your help. What should I do? Read it. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Here's the first update. This is Sarah back again with an update. The situation has taken a turn for the worse. Jack's suspicions are deepening, and he started to question me about the night I claimed to have spent shopping. His questions are rational, reasonable, the kind of inquiries anyone would make if they harbor doubts about their partner's faithfulness. But to me, they feel like a volley of arrows, each one piercing deeper into my guilt-ridden heart. He asked me for the shopping receipts. His question caught me off guard, and I blurted out the first excuse that came to mind. I had paid in cash and discarded the receipts. It was a flimsy excuse, and his skeptical gaze told me he didn't buy it. I was walking on thin ice, and I knew it. He then asked for any other proof of my whereabouts that night. My heart raced. It was almost as if he was tracing the breadcrumbs of my lie, and they were leading him closer to the terrible truth. I stumbled over my words, desperately trying to construct a lie. I don't always carry my phone while shopping. I mumbled, adding another layer to the crumbling facade. Then Jack dropped the bombshell. He wanted my Google login to check my map history. My heart sank. That fateful night, I had used Google Maps to navigate to Mike's apartment. In a panic moment, I chose defensiveness. I questioned his trust, his intentions, starting a small argument. It wasn't my proudest moment, but fear and guilt had me in their vice-like grip, and I felt cornered. Jack was persistent, not aggressive, but firm. Eventually, I gave in, intentionally providing the wrong password to buy myself some time. Avoiding Jack became my strategy. I buried myself in work and errands, anything to keep me away from another confrontation, but I couldn't hide forever. Sooner or later, he would ask for the correct password, and then I'd be out of excuses. I'm running scared, Reddit. I've made a mess of everything, and now I'm stuck in a situation where the truth might shatter my world completely. I'm terrified of losing Jack. Losing the life I've always wanted, the life we built together. The guilt is eating at me, and the fear of being found out is paralyzing. I still need your help, Reddit. What should I do? Should I come clean before he finds out on his own? Or should I keep quiet and hope for the best? Is there even a right way out of this? Now for the last time, this is Sarah back with a heavy heart and a story that hasn't ended well. The inevitable happened sooner than I expected. Jack found out everything, not through confrontation or confession, but through the cold and partial tracking of Google Maps. He saw my location that night, the 3 hours I spent at Mike's apartment. I discovered the truth the morning I got up to make Jack breakfast before his usual commute to work, but he was already gone. All that was left for me was a note on the kitchen counter, an agonizing, poignant explanation that he knew everything. He had seen his lawyer and the divorce papers were on their way. Reading the note felt like my heart was being crushed in a vice. I could hardly breathe, and the room spun around me. The letter dropped from my shaking hands, fluttering to the floor as if echoing the collapse of my world. I fell to my knees, tears streaming down my face, the reality of my actions hitting me like a freight train. I tried everything, Reddit. I called him, sent him text messages, letters, pleading for a chance to explain, to apologize, to beg for his forgiveness. But it was all in vain. Jack was like a statue, stoic and unyielding. He didn't respond to any of my attempts to reach out. He had always been a man of few words. His action spoke louder. His silence now was deafening. Each moment of it, a reminder of the trust one had shattered. The cold stone-like demeanor he'd adopted towards me was a stark contrast to the warmth and love he'd shown me before. Now I'm looking for a place to rent. The alimony I'm receiving isn't much. Jack was more than fair, but it will only afford me a modest apartment, a far cry from the beautiful house we'd made a home. I miss it already. The smell of fresh coffee in the mornings, the sound of Jack playing the piano, the silent conversations we had across our dinner table, and the thought that we were planning to start a family soon, tears at my heart. The dream of raising a child in our beautiful home, of sharing our love with a little one, is gone. I took that dream away from him, from us. I'm responsible for destroying not just the present, but our future too. I end this post with a heavy heart, etched with a painful understanding that I've made worst mistake of my life. I've learned the hard way that choices have consequences, some irreversible. I've lost Jack. The man who loved me despite my flaws, who wanted to build a future with me. Now all I have are the ruins of a marriage I destroyed and a guilt that I'll carry with me forever. I'm sorry, Jack, for the pain I caused you. I wish I could undo my actions, but all I can do now is live with the consequences and try to learn from my mistakes. I hope one day you'll find it in your heart to forgive me, even if we can never go back to what we had. And to everyone who read my story and gave me advice, thank you. Learn from my mistakes. Cherish the ones who truly love you, and never let a moment of weakness jeopardize everything you hold dear. Goodbye, Reddit. What a crushing story, and a reminder that choices do have consequences. Why someone throws it all away over what seems to be such an easy choice is beyond me. Dear listener, if you have reached this far, please click on the subscribe button. It will be a great help.